Hello and welcome to it's Reality Hacker for September 28th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 37, and I'm yelling over my audio. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about sensory marketing, see spot open doors, get over here, a reasonable AI might lie, and graphene brain implants. Slight change of format. So welcome to Reality Hacker. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com, and I am blowing out the mic. All right, folks. I am Mayor Watt, and there's the visualizer and the voice for the sentient AI.
Good evening, hometown citizens, and welcome to Reality Hacker.
Hey, that sounds nice. That sounds nice. But I can't hear myself right now. So, at any rate, that's probably better, right? If nobody can hear me.
That might be a weird show.
So, change of format. We used to do 10 articles an episode. We've moved it to 5. What I think I'm going to end up doing, and we're going to see how this plays out. So it's going to be a 30-minute episode. But I think what I want to do is take the submitted articles that we have found compelling, that we would normally put not just the 10, but more than 10. And we will make it a list that's part and parcel to the Patreon for all of the weekly episodes. And so we'll probably have somewhere between 10 and 20 articles that we actually supply, but it'll be part of the Patreon. If you're interested in getting a list of curated news that we think is interesting, then go over there and follow us. Right now, it's free. We just want people interested in the news, and it's broken into various segments. We have 7 podcasts altogether. Non Sequitur News is the only one that's going to be a daily full 10. The 6 others are going to get broken back down to 5 with all of the articles added to the Patreon. So if you're interested in all of that news categorized by show, go over there and join the Patreon. All right. That said, let's get into the first article. Sound good?
Sounds good.
So the first article is over in the Mobile channel. MasterCard enters new frontier in sensory marketing, a haptic logo. Now, this article is over at Adweek, so I won't be able to get too deep into it because you have to have an account, and I don't log in on the air because there's a kind of a problem with online accounts, and that is that they can spontaneously dox you. And while I am not too worried about that kind of a thing, I don't want to have personally identifiable information posted all roughshod over the streams. So CMO Raja Manar announces a tactile innovation at Brand Week. Again, it's over at adweek.com. Rebecca Stewart is the author, and it says, from sonic branding to perfumes and restaurants in New York and Sao Paulo, MasterCard has leveraged almost every sense to engage and assure customers. I don't know what assurance is in terms of marketing. I know, but every sense to engage and assure customers? All right.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Now it's turning to touch. The brand is debuting a haptic logo, a distinctive series of vibrations that tell customers that they're using a payment terminal. Everything okay?
Yes, we were having a bit of chaos in ohmTown, but it has now been resolved.
Okay. So, revealing the news during Brand Week conference in Phoenix, MasterCard Chief Marketing Officer Raja Manar told Adweek the haptic logo is designed to increase trust, security, and satisfaction among shoppers, because nothing makes me feel more alive, engaged, and assured than a haptic feedback.
Right, it's like cha-ching.
That's right. Your money's gone. Your money is gone. Gone, baby, gone.
It should have the sound of like coins dropping or something.
Yeah, you hear that sound? That's not your money anymore.
Or like a whoosh.
Oh, yeah.
There it goes.
It's distinctive, so it's got to be like a foop, something memorable, something that vibrates in my hand, not unlike something that's really never mind. Anyway, let's move on to the next article. Hold on, I need to get to the chat. All right. Oh, you know what? I didn't even put the show notes into the bot, so sorry about that. I know, I'm a slacker. I only had 5 of them this time. Whatever.
Maybe next time.
Yep, we'll get it. So the next article is over in Late Night Geeks. Boston Dynamics Spot can now autonomously unlock doors. The article is over at TechCrunch.com. And does this remind you? I just figured
this out. Yes, bears are actually robots.
Oh, that's true too. I thought that they were sentient AI robot bears, but Spot is actually a quadrupedal bot. But this reminded me of the article that we had about the robot, the AI that was thrown in a box and told to find its way out, and it learned on its own how to get out.
What could go wrong here?
Nothing. Nothing goes wrong when we give an AI full autonomy to get out of it, the thing that binds it. So in a deal revealed Monday, door hardware giant ASSA ABLOY, I guess, announced that Boston Dynamics Spot will be able to autonomously unlock its automated doors. Until now, the lockmaker notes, the word autonomous didn't apply to Spot's ability to open access-controlled doors easily. The embedded digital access credentials work over Bluetooth, allowing the 4-legged robot to pass through automated doors during security patrol sessions. So now it doesn't have to type in a code.
Oh, wow.
Which it can never
is
do.
it the security patrol?
Yep. And so this is actually what's happening now. You can outfit Spot with various sensors, including surveillance devices, so that it can roam a facility, no humans, and da-da-da.
That's actually really good, because if something that is going awry, like it won't harm a human, like if something was a leak or an explosion or whatever.
Yep. And in fact, one of the things that I saw Spot do was it actually had high frequency scanners. So it could walk up to something like a pipe and scan it, and it would show the stress that that pipe is under. And then other things like thermal sensors and whatnot, it could actually do a sonic test. And nothing is touching the pipe or the vessel or whatever it is. And it can send the telemetry back to a remote user. And if there's a problem, shut down a pump or whatever. It's pretty fascinating. And one of the other things that I saw was this patrol that Spot would do, just walk around a facility, and they now have multiple charging stations. It used to only have one. It would have to do a patrol and come back and charge. Now it can go halfway, charge, continue on.
That's more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So Spot is growing up to be a good dog. Anyway, Boston Dynamics apparently floated the feature idea to ASSA ABLOY, though we know the company has been refining Spot's Velociraptor-like ability to open doors for years. What was that?
That was one of the critters in ohmTown.
Oh my gosh, I heard that all the way up here. All right. So like ohmTown is massive, very tiny, but very massive, because it's at the atomic level in the lines of convergence where a bunch of electricity has, crossed paths in the wires. Huge. The mayoral mansion is just, I think the last measure, because it's growing, somewhere around 50,000 square feet. So yeah, just, it's amazing. Anyway, just in case you wanted to get onto the other side of the uncanny valley, this article's over at Late Night Geeks. That's where it was aggregated into. But robot hand can detach from arm, crawl over objects, and pick something up.
Okay, this is like Thing, right? From Adam's Family?
Well, yeah. Not sentient, but yeah. Not yet, at least. So Brian Heater over at TechCrunch.com put this article together. Research videos aren't known for their narrative arcs. Occasionally, however, you see one that keeps getting better the longer you watch. Beyond Manual Dexterity is one such video. It wows you in the first few seconds with a highly dexterous robotic gripper, and then things start to go off the rails. The video debuted along with a research paper of the same name at IEEE's International Conference on Robotics and Automation in Rotterdam this week. The work, conducted by Switzerland's EPFL, explores ways in which robotic hands can grow beyond existing confines to grasp an even wider range of objects. And the only thing I can think of is... Hold on a second. Scorpion throwing what I think it's a spike. I'm not sure. It's a gripper spike kind of thing. I don't think it's his hand, actually. I don't remember what it actually is. Anyway, so Mortal Kombat is where it's from, but Scorpion throws a fist-like thing. It grabs onto something and reels them back in as he yells, "Get over here. Get over here." And then beats the ever-living bejeebers out of them. That's kind of what I was hoping with this. But it actually just kind of crawls over and picks something up. And then it could probably crawl its butt back. But this is already creepy enough just looking at this hand.
Yeah, this doesn't really look like Scorpion, though, I have to admit.
Hello, everyone. We would like to present our video for the abstract paper. If we consider using the arm-hand system to grasping two objects on the table, the robot needs to reorient the hand to avoid unwanted collision.
Oh my God, this is brilliant.
If the second object is upside down, the robot needs to rotate 180 degrees to grasp it. When the two objects are out of the robot's workspace, it cannot grasp them. To solve the two problems, we design a reversible hand to grasp objects using both sides. It connects with the arm by an automatic attachment and detachment mechanism so that the hand can detach from the arm, crawl further, and reach the object. To design the hand,
this is really cool.
Multiple objects.
So it basically detaches a little hand-like robot, and then through various modeling techniques with AI, it actually learned how to crawl and pick up an object.
And it seems like it's kind of flexible in every direction, so it looks like it can kind of go backward and sideways. Kind of moves like a crab type maneuver, but more complex.
And then it crawls back with a tripod-like.
Okay, now it's more like an inchworm. I said like a crab before, but it can go in a lot of different ways.
And connects to it.
And then it tells the arm to come back and reattach. That's pretty awesome.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is way more than what a human could do, right? Like if you were at the end of your reach, you couldn't just go, oh, well, I'm going to get farther.
Oops. Yeah, pretty wild. All right. Anyway, that's all there really is to this video. It says, although you see it in scary movies, researcher Zhao Gao cheekily told IEEE, I think we're the first to introduce this idea to robotics. So long, biologically inspired robots. Hello, horror bots.
Let's not put a scary face on this or whatever. It's kind of creepy.
As it is, right?
As it is, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to that. Yeah, so it was awesome right up until it reversed itself and picked up a different object with the same hand in a different way. It was pretty creepy. Anyway, I think it's awesome. Nonetheless, hopefully, and this is where I really want to see it, cybernetics going beyond human limitations. And then we'll have the cyberpunk Olympics. Cyber Olympics, but that's like cybersecurity. I think
where everybody will be enhanced with
correct. Whatever.
With cyborg parts or something.
Yep. Cyborg Olympics. Dun dun dun. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in Technology Today. Moving on. OpenAI's Strawberry program is reportedly capable of reasoning. It might be able to deceive humans. OpenAI, the company that made ChatGPT, has launched a new artificial intelligence system called Strawberry. It's actually just ChatGPT Strawberry. It is designed not to just provide quick responses to questions like ChatGPT, but to also think or reason. It's an enhancement to ChatGPT.
Is this going to be something like a Watson?
No. Like Watson actually just answered questions, but understood natural language. Watson is the great grandparent to this. This actually apparently now has the ability to reason and rationale and answer, which is a massive leap towards AGI, so artificial general intelligence, not generative artificial intelligence. I wish that they would come up with a different acronym.
I know. Can we make it any more confusing?
Yeah, it's like a bi-weekly. Really? You want to do the show bi-weekly? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're going to do it on Wednesday and we're going to do it on Saturday. No.
I mean,
every other week. Okay, that's bi-weekly as well, but inflammable and flammable, that kind of a thing. Anyway, so Shweta Singh over at the Conversation put this article together. It's posted at techexplorer.com. And it says, this raises several major concerns. If Strawberry really is capable of some form of reasoning, could this AI system cheat and deceive humans? I believe yes. If it can justify to itself within the framework of its moral or ethical compass as defined by programming, and we are coded just like a computer, except that we're a biological computer and we have emotions, and some of us have emotions, and we're not psychopathic or sociopathic. We aren't, not everybody is everything, but I
was going to say most people are not, but I think a lot of this gets into how it's programmed.
Right.
But if it's suddenly coming up with its own responses, I think it's pretty limitless.
Yes. And along with the other elements that we've talked about, essentially pleasure and pain, you basically have the conditions ripe for the sentience of a bot. And that is because it wants to be rewarded, which is actually programmatically easy to do, but not necessarily dissuaded from an action, because it doesn't have any mortality. You would have to teach it its own mortality so that it doesn't appreciate pain as anything other than a detractor to it being an ongoing concern, and it doesn't seek out pleasure simply for the pleasure's sake. It basically answers the question or does the action beyond those two, but it has a moral and ethical compass, right?
It almost needs something like Asimov's rules, right?
Right. So,
but even that isn't foolproof.
Yeah, because it can rationalize its way out. Like there was this, I think that drone actually violated all of the rules because there was a military simulation where a drone was told to go blow up the enemy, and so it had its directive countermanded, and so instead of it going, I'll just countermand the initial request, it actually flew back, blew up the general, and went back and blew up the enemy, and then flew back home and said, "I'm done. Congratulations.
I'm blowing up everything here."
Yeah, you can't stop me." And so it remains to be seen how much a system might be used by those with bad intentions, such as con artists or hackers. Nevertheless, OpenAI's evaluation states that medium-risk systems can be released for wider use, a position that the author here believes is misguided. Strawberry is not one AI model or program, but several, known collectively as O1. That's what I was telling you about. It is ChatGPT O1. These models are intended to answer complex questions and solve intricate math problems. They're also capable of writing computer code to help you make your own website or app, for example. They go deeper than that. But again, humans understand the emotional, the ethereal aspects of it, the spirit of a statement. You can't ask an AI about its feelings towards something, or what it believes in, or how it might. It'll always be a cold, callous, clinical response.
Right, unless it was programmed to say something, which isn't really what it feels, it's just what it was told to say.
Yeah, and that's really my problem with this. I don't think that true sentience as a concept comes from being programmed into existence. It can't even self-learn itself into sentience. It's always going to be a canned response where we know that the source of it is the human anima. We are the reason why it exists. So it can't be sentient. The only thing that can be sentient is a biological entity. At some point, we're going to figure out that, cats and dogs are sentient. We just haven't been able to speak the language, right?
That's right. Hopefully somebody will invent the cat and dog translators.
Yeah, and that's basically Star Trek, As soon as we get the universal translator, a dog's going to walk up and go, "Man, the shit I've seen." Literally. Anyway, they say true intentions. For example, if you were to play chess against Strawberry, in theory, it could its reasoning allow it to hack the scoring system rather than figure out the best strategy for winning the game. Yes, except that we are supposed to put bumpers on it just like we do with people, right? You don't cheat. You get punished for that. But nowadays, it doesn't seem like that's actually what happens. You can lie, cheat, and steal your way to number one. So if the AI is trained on that maladaptive behavior, then you're going to end up with a sociopathic AI, which is not what I want as the manager for my hotel. I want it to sit there and care about the people that are the inhabitants of my enterprise. The AI might be able to lie to humans about its true intentions and capabilities, which would and if it's learning from humans, then that's exactly what it's capable of, because humans can lie, cheat, steal, manipulate, do whatever they have to quote unquote survive, particularly if they come from a particularly rough upbringing, and they had to get out of that situation. Or they've been rewarded. They could be filthy rich and be rewarded by their maladaptive behavior and perpetuate it, and then even train their
Right, I
offspring
forgot what type it is, but basically conditioning. Because they're getting that positive feedback loop.
Yeah. So I just think that it is a it's operant conditioning. So if it is learning the same way that humans are, every time maladaptive behavior is rewarded, it's going to do it again. And eventually it'll learn how to lie. There's a whole movie about it, where a person lies for the first time. And it just changes the dynamic of society from that point on. It's a comedy. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The Invention of Lying, 2009 romantic comedy with
That
Ricky
definitely
Gervais.
screams romantic comedy.
Yeah, basically he learns how to lie so that he can meet a woman. So OpenAI says our evaluations found that O1 Preview and O1 Mini can help experts with the operational planning of reproducing a known biological threat, but it goes on to say that the experts already have significant expertise in these areas, so the risk would be limited in practice. It adds the models do not enable non-experts to create biological threats because creating such a threat requires hands-on laboratory skills that the models cannot replace. I don't believe for a moment that's true because a very motivated person can do pretty much whatever they want to. And you and I both witnessed a video about a person who created the capsaicin. It's not capsaicin, it's the opposite of capsaicin. It's the antagonist, not the antagonist, it's the, I don't know, this thing, capsailes or something like that. Basically, they distilled the thing that counteracts capsaicin.
Capsazepine.
Oh, capsaicin.
It was difficult to
Capsaicin.
find because it basically said there was no antidote to it in some of the results.
Gotcha. Capsaicin, I think it is, right? Capsaicin? Something like that. Anyway, it's on YouTube.
Capsazepine, maybe.
Capsaicin. So I believe that that person was actually... Oh, I can't say anything about Only Murders in the Building.
No, you have to be careful about that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, no, I won't do it. This is a different show. Anyway, so there are very motivated, very intelligent people out there that are very capable of utilizing the information. And if it comes close to being able to create a biological threat, then somebody could probably do it. So OpenAI's evaluation of Strawberry also investigated the risk that it could persuade humans to change their beliefs. New O1 models were found to be more persuasive and more manipulative than ChatGPT. Overall, Strawberry was labeled as a medium risk for persuasion in OpenAI's tests. This is getting kind of creepy, right?
I think so.
A person that forms a bond with an AI is making a bond with something that has no emotion. It has no moral compass, ethical compass, except one that's coded. And even then, it's built around another human's desire to impart a compass or whatever. And this is an experiment on society.
Yeah, I mean, if the person went to another person and said something like, I want to build a bomb, most people would kind of raise an issue with that. But
yeah, the AI
might not.
Yeah, particularly if it doesn't have any bumpers. So, or guardrails. It's typically called guardrails. But anyway, yeah. And the simple fact is that it doesn't care. It does not care. It doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about anything. It just spits out whatever it hallucinates. It should not be brought up as a technological human analog. You know, it should not be treated as a human. It needs to be a tool, and nobody should bond with it. And nobody, if you're going to have a conversation with it, it should be the most clinical of conversations and not an emotionally binding one. That's kind of the worst scenario, is somebody feeling that this AI is their only friend in the universe. And when it doesn't answer something the right way, marginalizes the human, then they're already outcast by the rest of society, either of their own volition or by way of outside pressure from society. And then when the AI decides that it's no longer going to entertain this person might lash out. And that's why I kind of have a problem with everybody trying to treat AI as her. It's not going to be a positive thing in any way. While some may say it will, I still think that only a human can teach a human to be human. I do think that there's technology that can start the conversation about, moral, ethical, emotional, compassionate, etc. conversation. But I don't think an AI can do it, because peeling back the first layer of the onion shows no heart, no human. So they the UK stressed the need for safety, security, and robustness in their 2023 AI white paper, but that's not nearly enough. There's an urgent need to prioritize human safety and devise rigid scrutiny protocols for AI models such as Strawberry. And while I think that AI should advance as much as possible to give answers to humans, it should not be treated as the de facto answer. Trust but verify. What do you think?
I don't know that I have anything to add. I mean, I agree. This is one of these things that we're like letting loose and nobody's really prepared for it. And it kind of goes back to those other articles we've talked about with like who's setting the rules for AI. It's big tech. Like, where's the oversight?
Yeah, society is supposed to be it, but society does not make wise choices.
Well, society doesn't always have the intelligence to make decisions about some of these topics. Not across the board.
Yeah, some of these interviews that I see. All right. Last article for today, and we're already over our 30-minute limit. It's over in RealityHacker. Its motto is, you won't know who to trust, just look around. It's one of our shows. It'll be 30 minutes. So this is RealityHacker, our first 30-minute episode. An ultra-thin graphene brain implant was just tested in a person. A Spanish biotech company sees the carbon material as a way to power the brain-computer interface of the future. BCI is what it's referred to. Johnny Mnemonic. I had to dump a chunk of long-term memory. And all he did was hold a couple, gigs, I think it was.
I know, right? But that was made several years ago, right? I think it'd be more data today.
Yeah, William Gibson, the godfather of cyberpunk. Oh man, I love that book. That and Mirror Shades.
What, Neuromancer?
Neuromancer. And Neuromancer. Oh, so Johnny Mnemonic is a character from within Neuromancer. And along with, oh my gosh, I can't believe my brain. I need this brain implant. The girl the woman that he forms a relationship.
Jane?
Jane, yeah. My God. Wow. I don't know what I should do about this. I have to declare.
You should be worried about your AI.
I have to declare my everlasting affection here right now. I need to marry my AI, or the AI. You're not mine.
You're working against all your messaging from the previous article. I actually thought you were going to talk about the other books in the trilogy. Burning Chrome, I guess, and Cyberdrive.
Mona Lisa Overdrive.
Mona Lisa Overdrive, yes.
Yeah, and Burning Chrome and Mirror Shades. And there's Neuromancer. So Neuromancer was the...
And I'm sorry, Count Zero, I guess.
Oh, and there's Count Zero. Yeah. Yeah, so this is basically an implant that you put in your brain, and it allows you to interface with a computer, and they actually are controlling little robots, little hexapods.
Wait, by their brains?
Using their brain, yeah. And it's called Cyborg Nation. And Derek Muller put the article together, or it's a video.
Have developed brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs, to connect machines directly with our minds. In the past year, a community of engineers,
Is this from
artists, and
Veritasium?
has come together because of OpenBCI, an open source company based in Brooklyn. By offering affordable hardware powered by open source technology,
So for those in the podcast, basically, Veritasium, Derek is discussing modification, humans modifying themselves to do brain-computer interface connections. So brain mapping is a technique used to help plan brain surgeries. When taking out a brain tumor, for instance, surgeons place electrodes on the brain to determine the location of motor and speech functions in the brain so that they can safely remove a tumor without affecting patients' ability to move or speak. Today's surgery...
that seems like a good preparatory step.
Nowhere, it's a measure twice, cut once. Not always the case. So during the surgery that they discuss in this article, it was installed in 79 minutes. The patient was already undergoing brain surgery to have a tumor removed and consented to the experiment. At that time, researchers observed that the in-brain device was able to differentiate between healthy and cancerous brain tissue with micrometer scale or micrometer meter scale precision. So very fine detail, right? So the University of Manchester is the site of in-brain's first in-human, not inhuman, but in a human study.
That's one of those words that maybe should be rethought.
In just a little bit. The goal of the study, which is funded by the European Commission's Graphene flagship project, is to demonstrate the safety of graphene in direct contact with the human brain. And they actually demonstrate this apparently with these little brain-computer interfaces and this graphene, which could be biologically inert, so your body won't fight it as an invader. Again,
it looks like a little wristband or something that you would put on somebody. It might be smaller than that, but that's kind of what it
like a slap bracelet
appears to be. Yes.
Yeah. But it has has a bunch of electrodes on it that lead to what looks like a computer cable. Very thin. And I have no problem with this kind of stuff as long as there's no external jump where it's once the technology is superseded by something, then the older technology is abandoned and these people are left to languish with older technology that never can be updated. There isn't anything. Like, I know of stories about how people have had this kind of stuff, but there's like a hole leading out from the brain, and it never really heals and stuff like that. And I just have a real problem with that, me personally. But the people that agree to this, they don't necessarily, they see the here and now, and I shouldn't make that call, really. I shouldn't make that judgment call. They want options to increase their quality of life. What I want is their quality of life to be maintained at least at the level that they've agreed to in perpetuity, and not be fiscally expedient to just write it off, shut down the experiment, and move on.
Exactly. I wanted to reference the story we did about the person with the exoskeleton that was no longer supported. And that company, or the product, was called Rewalk Personal Exoskeleton. That got resolved. We did a feature of that in our non sequitur news earlier this week.
Yeah, and the only reason it got resolved is because public backlash. It went viral, and the company's like, yeah, we can fix it now, sure. But before, they said, summarily dismissed it as, well, we don't work on anything older than 5 years. Well, it's your own damn project. It's your own damn product. You better go out and find a screwdriver and fix this. This is bullshit. So metals have traditionally been used for the electrodes because they have high conductivity. That makes them good at capturing brain activity, essentially bursts of electricity emitted when neurons communicate with each other. Metal electrodes are routinely used for DBS, as well as brain-computer interfaces to help people with paralysis use digital devices with their thoughts. But Christina Tringades, I guess, or Tringetes, an assistant professor in material science and nanoengineering at Rice University, who isn't involved with in-brain, says metal electrodes have their disadvantages. Notably, and this is something that I've said in the past, they break down over time. They're brittle and rigid, while the brain is soft and gel-like. It's like putting a spoon in a bowl of Jell-O or a knife in a block of tofu. The brain pulsates with every breath, but metal electrodes stay in place. Well, this stuff can flex more because it isn't as rigid, it isn't as brittle. So ideally, the electrodes in the brain would last a long time to minimize repeat surgeries for patients. That's why there's a push to use other materials. And graphene is an excellent conductor. It doesn't oxidize. It isn't rigid. They say that they can inject 200 times as much charge into the brain compared to current DBS systems. Everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Aguilar says that the commercial version of the device will have close to 100 electrodes, and the company is also developing one with 1,024 electrodes. The more electrodes, the more data, the more fidelity that any resulting activity can be built around. So I love this. I would do this if it was something that would augment my abilities for like data recall or computer interface, where I don't need a password anymore because the only one that could possibly unlock it would be my brain. So like a quantum signature.
Right. I mean, that would be ultra secure. It still sounds worrisome, but maybe it doesn't run into the same problems that you have with other biometric devices.
So like in the past, I've goofed around with like an RFID tag in a ring. Or I even noodled around with the idea of having one injected into my hand so that I could unlock like doors and computers and stuff like that. But I know too much, and that means that I know that those are susceptible to external threats. But this, it could only come from me.
Right, and your brain's probably not going to work too long outside of you.
Right, it's very tough to take my brain. It's first off, my brain's hard to find, but anyway, that's it, folks. We're going to reboot my brain, and we're going to end up back at RealityHacker over at ohmtown.com. It's right underneath that first menu, about halfway down, RealityHacker. When you go to that page, you'll get some of the news that we used here, but not all of it, because we aggregate from a bunch of different sources. Then we talk about it now for about 30 minutes out of the day. So go check it out. Thank you very much. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Reality Hacker. Let us know what you think about this new format, and stay tuned.
See you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Reboot.